You hear noises, you hear it flying, then you hope that it will not aim at your house.
Did you ever face judgment or discrimination when telling people that your husband is Russian?
You hear the explosion, and then you're relieved that it's not you.
In this first part, I want to cover your story since, your story is really interesting. And for people who don't know, you came from Ukraine and you are from Kharkiv.
Yeah.
And you were in Ukraine when the war started. I wanted you to share your story. And if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions that interest me and probably will interest our audience. How did you find out about the war? You were in Ukraine, you were in your home. How did that happen?
Yeah, we were sleeping because we went to bed on February 23rd around 11 p.m. and then woke up from the phone call that actually my now husband called my mother.
Oh.
Because, I always put my phone on the mute or don't disturb mode, so he could not reach me. Yeah, it's impossible to call me, actually. So he called her from a Russian phone number, which scared her because she didn't know who was calling her. So that was weird. And then he never called her. She picked up the phone and he told her that the war started.
Which is interesting. A Russian guy calls a Ukrainian woman, tells her that the war started and his country invaded her country. This is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, it was insane. Yeah. And then she came to wake me up.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to wake up because it was 5 a.m. I was sleeping. I didn't plan on waking up that early.
Did you hear anything?
I did not. No? At that time, no. We didn't hear anything for the whole first day, I guess.
Okay.
But when I called my friend who was at the hospital doing her shift, because she's a nurse, she told me that from the window she could see explosions.
Oh,
and
God.
It was very bright, let's say. She sent me pictures and it was
terrifying.
Insane. Yeah.
How did you feel? You don't know anything really. Like, the first thing that comes to your mind, okay, the war started. Like, what about after? Just your first, thought and feeling that you felt when you found out.
I don't remember that.
Was it just were you scared or?
I was not.
No?
Because we couldn't hear anything, we couldn't see anything. So I was like, it's happening somewhere. Like it was happening somewhere since 2014, if you remember.
Yeah.
But we couldn't see it. So we were like, okay, it's not happening. It's not happening to us. So for the whole first day, we were like, nothing is happening. We can't see anything. If you turn on the news, of course, you'll see everyone talking about it. Yeah. And then
the president made the announcement.
Yeah.
Of course.
He made the announcement at 9, basically in the morning, and then the news, they switched to strange mode when they were only broadcasting
war mode or something.
Yeah. There were no other programs or films or anything. They were just talking about the war constantly. They were switching, I guess, the news broadcasters. They were switching a few hours in, and who knows how they do that. But we didn't feel anything.
I remember when you were talking about the TV broadcast, I remember watching it. I remember watching on my phone Zelensky's announcement about the war. Yeah. And I was shaking. It was in the middle of night in Canada. And then we started watching the broadcasting. But it was just to me, it's I'm not there. I can't help. Yeah. It was just such a feeling that of okay, I can't do much. Yeah. I'm here.
But there we couldn't believe it was happening.
Yeah.
We never believed it will happen. And then when it happened, we were like, okay, no, it's it's not happening.
Yeah,
it will not reach us. Yeah, it's a joke because how is it possible?
Yeah. How can somebody start a war in 21st century?
Yeah, that's what I asked.
Here we are.
It was crazy. But first day we spent just chatting to our neighbors. I don't know why, but we were outside in our yard the whole night. From 24th to 25th, we were outside and we came home only at 6 a.m., I guess. I don't even know. I can't describe why we were standing outside when we had our houses, right behind us, basically.
Were the sirens going off?
No, they were not. No. That's actually strange. The first, maybe they were in the morning, but I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, you were probably just in this state of shock that you can't just
probably, because I remember we were talking, we were laughing even. We opened a bottle of rum I brought from Vietnam.
Hey, why not?
Yeah, right? We were eating cake outside. Everything was happening outside because we thought that if we're staying outside, then I don't know what we were
The building
thinking,
will collapse or
actually. Yeah, I
something?
don't.
Like just
Who
weird
knows? But
thoughts.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because nobody back then knew how to save yourself. It's just like, okay, let's open a bottle of rum and just drink it and forget about it.
Yeah, I guess we thought that it will end during that first day because
Yeah,
like
everyone
like
thought.
we thought like, and they were saying on the news like 2-3 days or like a week, and then it became a month, and then it became 2 months, and then it became well in April it will end or like,
Yeah.
and then
a year.
it's still
Yeah,
it's
by the
still
end of
happening.
2024. Yeah, no. At what point did you and your family went to the basement, or where did you guys hide, and how long did you stay there?
The night from 24th to 25th was the last. I mean, not the night because we went to bed at like 6 a.m. So, but that
Right.
was the last time I slept in my bed.
Wow.
I would say, yeah. And then we woke up because we heard explosions.
No sirens, just explosions.
No, nothing, just explosions, and you could hear the house shaking. And that was the moment we went straight to the basement. So, yeah,
The house was shaking. Okay.
the house was shaking. And the ground, when you are in the basement, and when I say basement, it's not like a Canadian basement, right, or an American one.
Yeah.
It is very small space, maybe 2 by 2 meters, which is extremely cold because it's made of stone.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's not enough space, and it's made for storage, food storage, right?
Yeah.
It's meant to be cold.
Like jars with pickles,
Yeah,
tomatoes,
right?
for people who don't know.
Yeah.
Babushkas just store their stuff in there.
Yeah. Potatoes, onions,
Yeah.
and other stuff. And so everything was inside of that basement, and 3 people, meaning us and our 3 cats, were in that tiny space, just standing there, sitting, well, okay, waiting for that explosion
To end.
to end, but
Quiet
the
down.
end never came. And then when it became a bit quieter, and then we came upstairs, we took the chairs, we took something warm like blankets, pillows. We decided to wear warm clothes because it is freezing
Right.
in that place, and it was
Yeah.
winter. It's February, right? So it's like it was minus something, I don't remember. And then we made a bed for my grandma to lay because she has problems with her back. And me and my mother were just sleeping on chairs. I was sitting most of the time,
Oh, God.
or I was sitting. So, but yeah, we made sure our grandmother was
Yeah.
like laying down. But yeah,
It's the hardest for elderly people. Like, it's just...
it was insane.
And cats, too.
Yeah.
Like, how did they...
You know what? At some point, when I guess cats, they feel that the missile is flying or like that something is happening.
They sense things a lot more than we do.
Yeah, and at some point the cats were in the basement before us.
Wow.
Like I remember Thomas, my cat, he was on the ladder because there is no stairs to go to the basement. There is a ladder, a wooden ladder.
Yeah, we had that in our little cottage back in
Yeah.
Ukraine. Yeah, I remember.
So he was on it, making noises and asking for us to come downstairs.
Jesus. Wow.
Yeah.
So he felt it. He felt it coming.
And then we quickly ran to the basement and ran as much as you can run there. But then a few minutes later, we heard the explosion again.
So they were nonstop, kind of like little breaks here and there.
Yeah,
explosions.
Most of the time we were in the basement basically, and there was no internet because like it didn't go there. Wi-Fi didn't connect, so we were without any connection to the outer world. Yeah. Let's say Robert was going crazy because he didn't know what was happening to me. He was just connected to news portals about my city, and they were going insane.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
And when I didn't pick up the phone or I didn't answer his message, he didn't know what was happening because there is no way checking what is happening.
And how long did you stay in the basement for, if you remember? Like, was it a few weeks?
No,
was it
wasn't
month?
weeks. No, we left. We probably were there for a week, and then after that we left. We were on the border between Ukraine and Poland, March 8th. We crossed the border March 8th.
March 8th.
And the war started on the 24th.
International Women's Day.
Yeah. But we left 5th or 6th.
Was it safe or was it dangerous? Were the Russian troops in the city?
They were. And it's actually funny because the first day, we decided to go to the store to buy food, which we didn't need any because my family likes to buy food in bulk.
Thank God.
Yeah, which I was happy first time because I never liked it when my grandmother used to buy like 20 kilograms of burrito or like a lot of kilograms of flour. I was like, why are you doing that? The store is like right across the street. Like you can go there and buy it.
They just do that. Yeah.
And like, thanks God she did because we had food. We had flour. We had different like buckwheat. We had rice.
Grains,
we had literally everything. We had meat, vegetables, and we went to the store. I don't even know why. But we decided to go to the store. We met with my friend, her father, and then me and my mother went to the store. And after we came back, we found out that a tank was right around the corner of the store we went to.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I was so shocked when I saw that on the news. It was literally standing there. And I don't know how, but
so it got into the city and then just...
Yeah, it was just lost, I guess. I don't know what it was doing, but maybe it was on the way somewhere, or maybe he was waiting for someone to tell him what to do. But yeah, we didn't see it.
Oh, God.
But yeah, it was very...
It was close.
Yeah, it was very close.
Because like for people that don't know, there's been a lot of stories when Russian tanks would just stand somewhere, like at the store, whatever, people go shopping, or they're like, there's a line of people waiting to buy bread or something, and then they just aim at normal people, citizens, and shoot them down. So that's the scariest part of hearing about that. Just like the tank was just there.
Yeah, but we didn't hear about those stories back then. But
Nobody knew.
Yeah, but to understand that it was so close and we didn't see it and we didn't even know that it was there at the time we were in the grocery store. And who knows?
Was there any food back then?
When we came to the store, bread was gone. There was no bread. All the dry food was gone, like the instant food.
That's the main thing, right?
Yeah, canned food was gone. And flour was gone. The shelves were half empty. We bought some stupid stuff. I don't even know why we bought it.
That's just like probably panic or something.
Yeah, like that was so stupid. I remember I bought caviar.
Okay, caviar.
I don't know why.
That's random.
That's the only thing I remember. And then we came out of the store and we saw a person selling bread. But the price of that bread,
of course,
was triple the price that you would usually buy.
That's just the audacity of people that like they just do that stupid shit,
right? So when it's war and you basically he took this bread from a bread factory nearby for free.
Oh,
and he was selling it.
An asshole,
right? There was food. We had food, but we didn't want to eat any food.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have any appetite, so it wasn't like...
Yeah, it's like you're in that shock state that you just don't want to eat, don't want to...
Yeah. I remember once we took our Instant Pot to the basement and we cooked something. I don't remember what, but we cooked something. Probably for fun. I guess we did that for fun.
A little activity. Well, I mean, you had to keep busy, right? You had to do something.
And we joked that during the Second World War, they were cooking using fire.
Yeah.
They didn't have instant pots. They didn't have electricity, right?
Yeah.
Or they didn't have access to electricity, and it was completely different. And we are in the 21st century in a basement with our instant pot cooking some food during the war. That was our joke.
Mind-blowing.
Right, yeah. When you're sitting in the basement, there are no windows. You can't see anything.
Right.
And you hear noises. You hear it flying. And then you hope that it will not aim at your house.
Well, I've heard a saying that, again, a person who has not experienced any sort of war in here and just heard all the stories, but I've heard when you hear something, that means it's kind of far away, further from your house. But the fact that when you actually don't hear anything and that, like, it shocks, the wave of, like, the missile shocks you, hear nothing, just silence. So, I mean, in a good way, when you hear something, it's far away from you.
Yeah, we didn't know that. But
again, who knew that?
Yeah, right?
Then, right?
And who would think that you will ever find out?
Yeah.
But it was still scary when you hear... I understood that, it's flying somewhere, right? But to hear that noise, you hear it, then your heart stops because you're waiting for it to fall somewhere, to aim somewhere, which is not a good thing. You know that it will kill someone. And then it hits, you hear the explosion, and then you're relieved that it's not you.
And of course, it a game of Russian roulette.
Kind of, yeah, because you don't
Are
know
you gonna
where it will
survive?
fall. Yeah,
And of course, these assholes are aiming at civilians,
yeah, basically they were.
not military stations. Not, I mean, they were aiming at airports and kind of like different bases. But God,
Hello, Archie.
we have a visitor. Hello.
It was scary.
Just to think about all those other people sitting in the basement and feeling
You know
that
what?
it's coming and your life is gonna end in like any second.
Yeah, and then the fact that we were sitting in the basement would not help, because we decided that it's going to be safe if will be in the basement. So like the house will fall if the missile hits, but the basement will stay.
Yeah, but you're gonna be stuck in the basement. That's the thing.
Yeah, but problem is it's not how it works. Few days later, missile hit a house just like ours, and when they showed it on the news,
It collapsed completely.
there was nothing left of the house. There was just a huge hole on the place where the house was, and nothing else. And the people were hiding in the basement.
Everyone died.
And at that point, I understood that
It's not
like
that safe.
it doesn't matter where you are, if it hits,
Yeah,
there's no way.
yeah. Because if it dug such a big hole in the house and then like in the soil, that means like it goes through any kind of basement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not safe. Maybe if it is an apartment building, yes, and then you'll be covered by
there's some
that building,
chance.
yes, but not in these houses.
But again, we've seen like apartment buildings that were hit and like the whole row of
yeah,
apartments are just like kind of like run down through. It's like a knife cut down through
Yeah.
them and everyone's gone.
yeah, there's no way escaping it, and you don't know where it will hit.
That's
That
terrifying.
is scary, but that's not the scariest thing that happened
What's the scariest thing?
to me, because like we shut our windows, we shut everything, because they said it in the first day of war. They said that it's better for them not to see any light coming out of the house. So we shut all the windows, everything was dark, and then we would still come upstairs, not turn on the light, of course, at night. But then I remember I was standing in the middle of the room, and I heard a plane that was flying right above my house, right above us.
Oh God.
That was not a regular plane, that was a huge military plane.
Like a
huge-
helicopter or an actual
No,
like,
that was a huge
ass
plane.
plane?
Like, can you imagine a military plane?
Yeah.
It is that. Like, it's huge, and you know there is a missile in it.
Oh my God.
And you don't know where it will hit.
And
Will it
it's
just drop it
Yeah.
on
and
you?
it's above your house.
It is. It made me, like, I was standing in the middle of the room. There was no one in the room, because I don't remember where my mother was. I heard it. I felt the house shaking, yeah. And then I dropped on my knees. I couldn't control it. I
Yeah.
just dropped,
Oh.
and then I covered my head, as if it would save me, if it were to aim my house.
Oh, I just have goosebumps on my skin now.
I'm like, my heart is pounding.
Yeah.
Like, but that was, for me, that was the worst. I still remember that feeling, the noise of that plane, the understanding that if it drops, again, there is no escape, and it will just land on my head, basically.
That your fate is basically in like someone's hand
Yeah,
in that plane.
it was the scariest thing I ever felt. Like
Jesus.
that. After that, like for 2 years, I guess, I couldn't hear airplanes. It seemed to me that they carry rockets, they carry missiles, they carry bombs or something. If it was a regular plane, I didn't care, but my
That's
brain saw it.
terrifying, Yeah. Yeah,
that-
PTSD.
It seems to me, yes, but it stopped now. But yeah, it seemed to me, I wanted to hide. As soon as I heard a plane, I wanted to hide. When we were in Azerbaijan with my husband already, he was somewhere in the apartment, but I was sitting on our bed, and I heard they were having some kind of training or something, but there were a lot of planes, but those were military planes, not as big as that plane
Right.
was, but they were loud military planes, and they were flying around our house. I fought the urge to hide in the closet. Like, I literally wanted to hide. I couldn't bear to hear those planes fly. Like, literally. That was awful.
Jesus. That is just terrifying.
It is.
Sorry that you went through this.
Yeah.
And I asked you what was the worst thing, right? So you had to kind of live through that part of your life. So since your husband is Russian, let's be honest, he is Russian. He's from Russia. Yeah. Did you ever face any judgment or discrimination?
A traitor. in me, I'm a traitor. Yeah.
No, you're not.
I mean, no, I'm not. But
you guys were in a relationship before the war started. It wasn't after, so your situation's different.
True. I didn't feel that. I can't say I faced that. But I was ashamed to say that to someone who is a Ukrainian. For example, when I met you first, I was scared to tell you that he's Russian because I didn't know how you would react. Because you know that